everybody. Welcome to the podcast, the Project Investigation Collaboration brought to you by the Veritas Project. And as always, we are here with our gracious host and founder of the Veritas Project, Robert Curtis.
Hello.
Wiki Bob, he is the walking Wikipedia of the paranormal. And I am lead investigator Todd Boyer, and welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, welcome everybody.
So, we had an investigation last night at Bob's family home, and it's actually our fourth time that we've investigated there. Bob's doing renovations, and we talked last night about the things that happened there on the regular. The camera sets off it says person detected, not motion detected.
Right.
We've got videos of shadows moving through rooms where there should be no shadow whatsoever. Orbs. We've got orbs, knocking sounds, and a slew of other things. We've had some great investigations on the live that, we do them live on TikTok so everybody could see. And last night we did an investigation and it was dead quiet.
Yeah.
There was nothing going on last night.
We did get some evidence once the resonator was turned on.
We did. We turned on the resonator last night, which is one of Bob's projects. And it resonates, it was the 16.9 hertz? 18.9 hertz.
18.9, yeah.
And that is supposed to be the ghost frequency, which on TikTok we have a video going viral. It has 35,000 views in 3 days about the ghost frequency.
Right.
And so we tested it out last night, and while we had it resonating at that 18.9 hertz, we got a lot more activity on the apps because I use Ovilus and Bob was using the Ghost app.
Yeah.
And we got a lot more activity while it was going. Only problem was it got hot.
They got super hot. So.
Really, really hot. So we're going to have to find a way to have it work.
Yeah,
either cool it or have it cycle off and on so it doesn't get so hot, and cool it at the same time, which would be helpful. But we had it running for about, 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
And the activity really picked up, and it was pretty cool. So that was pretty nice.
Yep. Back to the drawing board.
Yeah. So we'll have to figure it out, get it cooled down, and so unfortunately our investigation last night was kind of a bust, except for that.
That's science for you.
Yep. We went in there because there had been activity picking up and whatnot. And so what we ended up doing is, we going through the investigation, and it just didn't have the energy that it normally feels when we go into investigation. And I don't know if it was because Bob was hanging out all day, or if it was just the last two times we went in there, it wasn't as hyped up as the first time we went in there. It didn't feel like it had the energy.
Yeah.
So you can kind of feel going into an investigation when almost like something is going to be good.
Yeah.
Because you can kind of feel that energy in the air.
Right.
Now, that being said, I had a nightmare about the investigation last night, which I never do. Huh. I never have nightmares about the investigation.
Right.
What I dreamt, and it was a very literally 30-second nightmare. Mm. I went from, you were walking in front of me, we were walking from the living room into the kitchen, and I said, Bob, there's something here. We didn't have any lights on whatsoever. We didn't have any flashlights on.
Okay.
And I said, Bob, there's something here. And it was in the kitchen. It went past you and came to me, and it was right in front of me. And it made me scared. I don't know why, because normally it's not but I was terrified.
Wow.
And I normally am not like that, on investigation stuff. And I normally never have nightmares about investigations. So I don't know what that was, but it was so quick. It literally, probably not even a 30-second nightmare. Literally, we took 2 steps, and I said, Bob, there's something here, and it came right to me.
And gotcha.
And got me. So, a little wild. I'll put that
crazy.
out there.
Yeah.
So.
That's good evidence, though.
Yeah.
There's something happening.
Yeah, well. Like I said, normally that stuff doesn't bother me. I've done hundreds and hundreds of investigations, and I've never had a nightmare about an investigation. So that was kind of weird last night.
Yeah, especially when it was a quiet
investigation. Yeah, a quiet investigation. Yeah. So, that's the funny thing is, I think last night was our quietest investigation we've had so far.
Yeah.
We've done some other stuff, and I mean, I think that's actually one of the quietest investigations I've ever had, period. You know, because there was like, I mean, the obelisk was going off, but there really wasn't saying much. We did have one thing that I found kind of funny. I kind of let one go in the kitchen, and it said wins, which if anybody knows, back in the day, an old-timey term is when somebody was gassy, they said they had the wins.
Right.
So I thought that was kind of amusing. It literally popped up right after I let one go. So
That's fun.
throw myself under the bus here, but
Yeah.
but you know, it's worth it because it was such a funny interaction. So yeah, at least it didn't lift you up to the wall. You know, Robin unfortunately had a nightmare and went to the limp, and it lifted her up to the wall, which was our investigation. Which August 11th will be the date. We were thinking the 18th, but that I thought about it, and Bob and I talked about it. That might be when kids go back to school.
Yeah.
But if we do the 11th, I think we'll be safe.
Right.
And so Lemp Mansion, August 11th, our second annual meet and greet. Lemp Mansion, we talk about all the time. It's the top 20 most haunted places in the nation.
Oh, yeah.
Come out. There is 4 rooms available. 2 of the rooms have places for 4 people to sleep. You know, bring a group of 4, bring a group of 2. We do recommend you group up because it's about $200 a night for a room. But that sleeps 2, or the other ones sleep 4.
Right.
So last year, Bob and I came out of pocket and rented the whole place up front, but we ended up losing money on the deal because we didn't fill up.
Right.
So it is what it is. So this year, we're getting it out there this early. None of the rooms have been reserved for that time, so we have it now, so that way everybody can get it in now if you want to go out and do that investigation with us at the Lemp Mansion. The Lemp Mansion is a legit haunted house.
Yeah.
I cannot say enough about that place. The feeling, even during the daytime, is oppressive. It feels like you're being surrounded the entire time you're there.
Somebody's watching.
It feels like you're being watched. It is
without a doubt.
a gnarly place no matter what time of day you are in there. It is absolutely haunted. There was 3 suicides in the family. 2 of them took place in the house.
Right.
It was also overflow for the Marion Hospital, which we don't know how many people passed away that were in the overflow.
Yeah, you have no idea.
Then it was a flop house. Who knows how many people could have passed away in there when it was a flop house. So we really don't know how many deaths actually took place in there.
Right.
But it is hella haunted.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So if you want to do that, get in contact with the Lemp Mansion, LEMP Mansion in St. Louis. Come out and join us on August 11th for the meet and greet. Right. And we do go to the Cahokia Mounds.
Yeah.
Which
We're gonna do a walkthrough.
Yep, which we did last year, which the Cahokia Mounds, if you don't know anything about that, it's considered one of the lost civilizations of the world, and it's right here in St. Louis, right just outside of St. Louis. They were a huge trading hub.
Yep.
And they just literally within 2 years just poof gone. Just gone.
Just disappeared.
Nobody knows where the DNA strain went to.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, the other Indians or Native American cultures in that area in the Mississippi Valley don't have the same DNA as they found at that site. So they weren't absorbed into other tribes. They just disappeared.
And when we say disappeared, they literally left baskets of grain behind and stuff like that. Like
Tools and
like
clothes.
just vanished.
Yeah.
And there was beads and things found from the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
So they were trading like all over the United States. It was a major trading hub. You know, and it was a really cool place because they built large step mound pyramid kind of situations there too. So we'll be doing that again along with it. We'll be doing that in the morning, and then we check in at like 3:00. And once we check in, 3:00, they hand over the keys. They leave. We have the entire mansion to ourselves.
Yep.
And it is fantastic. We had a great investigation last year. A lot of stuff going on. People had a lot of experiences. So if you want to do a paranormal investigation with a group that is fully into the science of the investigation, we don't over exaggerate anything.
No.
We try to debunk first. Whatever's left over, that's what we have left. You know, and we had a great investigation last year. And if you're interested in that kind of thing, Lemp Mansion, let us know. Shoot us an email on I'm investigator.todd.paranormal@gmail.com. And Bob is the real Veritas Project at gmail.com. Shoot us a message. Let us know. Hey, I'm interested in coming. Then reserve your room at the Lemp Mansion. And
Do we have deal with the limps if there only are people that are getting it?
Not yet. We would have to rent the rooms out ahead of time like we did last year.
Okay, we can't have them reserve it for us.
Yeah, I tried. Yeah. They didn't want to do it. So
okay.
Unfortunately.
So unless we get it filled up quick, then it could be
could be other people. Yeah. So we want to try to fill this up quick with people that want to do this investigation.
Right.
So that being said, we got that coming up. We're always trying to find new place to investigate in the St. Louis area. So if you're from the area, let us know. Yep. Help us get a place to investigate. If you have a ghost story, email us your ghost story.
Yeah, tell us your ghost story. Our last podcast we did, The Watcher in the Woods, was a viewer submission.
Yep. So we'll go through it. We want as much detail as you can remember. Time of day, temperature, how you felt, how old were you, how it made you feel.
Right.
How did you feel afterwards? Has it changed?
Detail.
Yeah, as much detail as you can give us. Send us an email, and we'll do a podcast on it. So, because we like to go through those stories.
Yeah.
Oh, anything else going on that I can think of? Oh, yeah, right here in front of me.
Postcards, yeah.
So, if you're a $5 Patreon member, we send you a postcard every month. We've told you guys this multiple times here on the podcast. And now we're going to tell you guys on the live. If you're a Patreon member, we have the next 4 months worth of postcards already printed off. There is February and March and April and May. And I will show them up here. February, March, April, and May. So we have the next 4 postcards ready to go. If you're a $5 Patreon member, we will send you an autographed postcard with a little thank you for following us kind of message, and that'll be out there for you guys. We'll send those to you. So, I think all right. I think we'll get on with the regular portion of the podcast today. We're going to talk about frequency because we did have. Now we've talked about frequency before, but it didn't really cover everything that we wanted it to cover.
Yeah.
And we wanted to cover it again because we did have that viral video about the ghost frequency.
Right.
So let's start with that ghost frequency. That was 18.9 hertz.
Right.
And we did notice, we used it during our investigation last night, and we did notice an increase in activity when we had it going. As soon as you turned it off, you did not get near as many pictures on the ghost tube. Now, Bob uses the ghost tube app, which generates pictures.
Right.
Normally we get one every 15 minutes, one every
20
minutes. You were getting one every 3 minutes while it was going.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was the amount of stuff that we were getting above and beyond during the investigation was...
And personal stuff in there, because, like, the picture of the butcher, like my great grandfather used to make his own sausage and stuff in the barn right there, and it had the Joker's face, that's unbelievable. Because when I was in high school, I airbrushed the Joker on the back of my jacket and wore that all the way through high school, and how. So
maybe somebody was coming through trying to tell you
that. You know what I mean? Like that level of detail,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And not like the Heath Ledger Joker. It was like the
original Joker,
Joker from like the 80s.
And it was
Jack Nicholson Joker.
The Ovilus was going crazy. The Ovilus was super quiet until we turned the resonator on, and then the Ovilus just chattered. I had to turn it down. I had it maxed out and wasn't getting anything, and I actually had to turn the sensitivity down because it was getting so much.
Yeah.
So, and it seemed like multiple people talking, and I did get little snippets in there where I thought were somebody trying to have a conversation, but it wasn't a lot of that.
That's weird because my theory with the resonator was that it would enhance your ability to perceive paranormal events. Like it wouldn't ramp up in the environment paranormal.
But apparently it did. It ramped up the whole environment. So I think maybe because you told the story about frequency and the scientist that discovered the frequency, maybe it wasn't a matter of it made his brain more susceptible to it. Maybe it's a frequency that allows them to communicate better.
Right.
Rather
It,
than
like,
opening your brain
opens the
up. It
veil
just
up.
opens the veil,
Yeah.
thins the veil.
So
So
that's crazy to think about.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. We'll keep
I don't
working
know
with
either,
it.
but it's something we're going to have to keep experimenting with.
Which Bob lost the wire somehow. The wire
Yeah.
disappeared. So
I made a wire to it that was like 3 foot long, and I don't know what happened to it. It was all in the box together.
Yeah.
And I can't find it.
last night he had to cut apart a speaker and take little 3-inch wires and
Right. I just spliced two wires together to get it.
just to get it to work. So,
Yeah.
but it works great. It worked fantastic. So frequency, that was one of the big things Tesla was into.
Yeah.
Was
Oh, yeah.
frequency. He had a machine that he could put on a building, and it would oscillate at the
Right.
same frequency as the building, and shake the whole building.
Yeah, they could break
They
it apart.
could break it apart.
Turn it into sand, basically.
So, I'm sure you guys have seen the old commercial with the bridge in Washington,
Yeah,
right.
right.
That got oscillating at the frequency of the bridge. The
Right.
wind got it oscillating, and you can see it just rocking and rolling, and
Right.
eventually it fell down into
Right.
the water there. So that's frequency has that much effect if you hit that right resonation.
Yeah.
And now they're saying, the right frequency can destroy cancer cells and all kinds of stuff. So frequency is something that's coming back in. But what we're going to tell you guys, what we're going to talk about here and get deep into, is how ancient cultures used frequency.
Right.
So we're going to start off with the ancient Egyptian resonance chambers. The Great Pyramid of Giza contained chambers that are theorized to harness sound vibrations for energy or healing.
Right.
Certain frequencies produced by chanting may have aligned with the pyramid's resonant properties, and priests used sound tools like sistrums for rituals believed to connect to divine energies. Now, the temple's acoustics were designed to amplify voices, creating a spiritual atmosphere, and some speculate that ancient Egyptians used sound waves to move heavy stones.
Right.
So that's one of the theories of how the pyramids got built.
They say that the Great Pyramid didn't have any burial chambers in it, so that's why that mystery has been around for centuries of what was it used for then. Was it some sort of communications device?
Right.
Why does it have these resonant chambers in it? What does it do with the resonant chambers? And originally they speculated that they filled it up with like rice or like some sort of food storage, but then in their own drawings of how their culture was, they didn't store grain.
Right. Now, how would you get it out of there? Because
Right.
the way they put it in there,
Yeah,
they
but-
were saying it was from the top and it's filtered down, and
Yeah.
would have made it hard as heck just to get it out. So, yeah, most of the sarcophagus and that kind of stuff all come from different places, not
Right.
not the pyramids.
Right, not the Great Pyramid.
So it's a big misconception that all these sarcophagus came from the Great Pyramids. So,
Yeah.
so Greek Pythagorean harmonics. Now, the Pythagoreans explored the relationship between music and mathematics, developing the music of spheres theory. Harmonic ratios were believed to reflect cosmic order and divine balance. Healing was conducted through specific tones in what was called musical medicine. Ancient lyres and flutes were tuned to produce frequencies associated with mental and physical well-being, while philosophers believed that sound could influence character and morality, which I'm a firm believer in that, because we've also seen things here where people talk about playing music to plants and
Right.
getting ridiculously high yields off of plants that they've played music to.
Right.
They're talking about the one guy, I guess he played classical music, and his corn grew to like 15 feet tall. I mean, and people are like, wait, what were you playing to your plants? So
Yeah.
they can get that kind of harvest going. So what's your thought on towards the wellness?
I believe in that because it like the simatones. You ever heard of that? It's like tones you can play.
Oh, yeah.
And it like you can cleanse yourself and have healing processes through the simatones. They have different tones like detoxify your liver or kidneys or things like that. So there is some science to it.
Because we all resonate at our own frequency.
Right.
So The Indian Vedic chanting. Vedic hymns were chanted in precise tones to align human consciousness with universal vibrations. The Om sound is considered the primordial vibration of the universe. Specific mantras were believed to resonate with chakras, adding spiritual growth. Ayurveda, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, incorporates sound theory for mental and emotional healing, while temples were designed to amplify the effects of chants. Now, I know you guys have seen, there's places around even the country here. There's a place in Colorado that's an amphitheater where, where you don't need microphones or any kind of sound or voice amplification. You can stand at the bottom on the stage, and the people at the very top in the back can hear you perfectly without any kind of sound amplification.
Red Rocks or something like that. It's called.
I was there when I was 5. we did all that sightseeing when I was 5. We went to Royal Gorge and all that, and went Pikes Peak and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, we went to Pikes Peak.
So long time ago.
Yeah.
So then we have the Tibetan singing bowls. Now, the singing bowls produce frequencies that aid meditation and relaxation. Vibrations from the bowls are believed to balance energy fields and used in Buddhist rituals to achieve harmony with the universe. Now, different sizes and tones align with chakras for spiritual healing, and modern sound therapy derives from these ancient practices.
Right.
Now, something that Bob and I had talked about before is some of these ancient pillars in these Tibetan temples, they thought they were flowers at the top of the pillars.
Right.
And it turns out it's not flowers at the top of the pillars. It's pictures of frequencies.
Right.
Now, I don't know if you guys have ever seen that experiment where they take sand and they put it on a big square and then play either music onto it, or they rub a violin bow across it, and it makes the sand goes into a picture.
Right.
Well, into a pattern. These pillars had frequency patterns on the top of them.
Right.
So these pillars resonate at different frequencies by the way they were carved. So you're telling me that these ancient cultures didn't have some kind of higher, higher science and technology? How do they know that what that frequency looked like, that pillar, that it resonated at that frequency? How do they know that?
Yeah.
So it's,
Crazy.
I mean, and the good thing is we're coming back into that. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're starting to get away from, I don't want to call it science into pseudoscience, but we've been pushed this narrative of hard science without looking at frequency and the ether and things that were actually taught before the 20s.
Oh, yeah.
But with our new school systems, the way the new school systems were, that they took all that stuff out of the curriculum.
Yeah. Spiritualism.
So, and things that Tesla, was big into.
Right.
They took out of all the curriculum and said, okay, this is what we're going to learn. And the problem is, the funny thing is, a lot of what we learn is technically still theory.
Right.
And we all believe it as science the way it is, but technically it's still theory. Because some of the stuff, we've just been told it's that for so long that we believe it to be fact when it actually hasn't been proven.
Right.
So it's kind of wild when you go into go down that rabbit hole.
Einstein's theory of relativity. Now they say that's not the constant in the universe anymore.
Right. Yep. And time is not a constant.
Right.
Because your perception of time changes.
Right.
Especially, and it's even as you get older, your perception of time changes. Time passes faster as you get older because it's taken up more of your life. They say that as far as time goes, as far as the way you feel time passes, that 21 is where the time it takes you to get to 21 feels the same as 21 to 80.
Oh.
Because a smaller percentage of your life has been time, right? You know what I'm saying? So
right.
If you've only experienced a year, each day, or we'll say 5 years, each day feels longer because you've only experienced 5 years. Once you've experienced 40 or 50 years, each day doesn't seem as long because you've experienced more of them. Mm. So that's one of the time things that boy.
Yeah, right.
So Native American drumming. Now drumming creates rhythmic vibrations to induce trance-like states. Powwow drums unify participants and connect them in the ancestral spirits, and vibrations are used to heal emotional, physical ailment. Drum rhythm mirrors heartbeat, fostering a sense of grounding. Songs and drumming preserve cultural stories and teachings. So even the ancient, Native Americans and the drum beats and all that kind of stuff was believed to work in ways. And I know that that's part of like techno and hip hop, right? It's about beats per minute, right? And it your heart actually matches the rhythm. And if you there's a sweet spot. I can't remember the frequency of beats per minute, but there's a sweet spot that people love in techno and dance music. That once you get that sweet spot,
52, I think.
It's higher than that.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's like 120 or something.
Oh yeah.
It's like it's up there. But then that's the whole thing: is you bring them up. You hold them there for a while, and then you bring them down and give them time to relax. And then you bring them back up to that BPM, and then you bring them down again.
You know what it is?
So,
52 is what the radio station for BPM is on Sirius XM.
Oh, is it?
It just occurred to me, like that's the number of the radio station.
That's funny. So, the Guzheng, Chinese Guzheng music. The Guzheng, a traditional zither, was played for meditation and self-cultivation. It sounds were believed to harmonize with natural elements like wind and water. Taoist teachings associate Guzheng music with achieving inner peace. Frequencies produced were said to balance the qi life force, and played during ceremonies to foster spiritual enlightenment.
Yeah.
So once again, it's about resonating your body to that frequency to where you heal and you have a more open mind. And I think that's a lot of, I've seen things too about why monitors use blue light, because it messes up our resonant frequency. And they're using it to, conspiracy theory here, guys, rabbit hole, to keep us sick, because Big Pharma makes money if we're sick.
Oh yeah, for real.
So, and then if you guys noticed, if you do a lot of screen time at night, it's harder to get to sleep.
Oh yeah,
because it messes with your
your
brain.
I have those amber glasses that I wear at night sometimes to help keep your circadian
gaming glasses.
Rhythm.
Yeah, I have some of those too. They're not clear enough though; they bug me.
Yeah, mine are like an amber, like an orangish color, and it cuts out all the blue light in the evening, so that way you get better sleep.
Right on. So, Sumerian temple hymns. Now, ancient Sumerians used vocal chants to honor gods in ziggurat temples. The hymns were designed to resonate with the temple's architecture, believed to communicate with divine beings through sound waves, and instruments like lyres and pipes accompanied chants. And ritual sounds reinforced the cosmic order. Now you're thinking Sumerian. How long ago was Sumerian time?
Yeah,
I mean, how many thousands of years ago was that?
Yeah,
so
a lot. That was back when they communicated in cuneiform.
Yeah. So then you've got the Mesoamerican conch shell horns. Now the conch shells produce low frequencies in ceremonies, and the sound vibrations represented communications with the gods. Used during rituals for rain, fertility, and war, believed to summon natural forces like wind and water. The frequencies create a sense of awe and reverence in participants. So yeah, those bassier tones, you get the right resonance, your whole chest will vibrate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So resonant frequencies is something that's been used for, millennia, for a long time, through all different cultures. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is, like I said, we got away from that.
Yeah. What's that big horn that the Celtic people used to carry into battle? You know what I'm talking about? There's a great big horn, had like a dragon's head on it, and they would blow that sound to intimidate other tribes or whatever. I forget what the thing was called. Pretty cool though.
Just imagine that thing, hearing that thing come across the battlefield, like whoa, that low, deep, giant horn. So now, the Japanese Shinto Kagura ritual music usually included rhythmic drumming and flutes. Kagura ceremonies use sound to purify spaces and invite kami, which are spirits, and the vibrations were thought to align human and spiritual realms. songs accompanied dances to invoke blessings, and ritual performances maintained harmony with nature. Now, that's one I actually hadn't heard of before.
Yeah.
So that's a new one for me even. You know, when we do this research, sometimes we learn a lot of things, you know, that we hadn't before, because, you know, we use AI a lot to help our research or whatever. And sometimes it comes up with things that you know, we've never heard before, and other times it's like, we've been saying that for years, you know?
Yeah.
So
They had a big drum band in Tokyo when I was stationed over there, and that was one of the things I wanted to see, and it was absolutely amazing. Some of these drums had to be transported like on the back of a semi-trailer. They're so big. And it was like, it felt like an earthquake almost.
wow, it resonated and went through the whole ground and everything.
Man, it was unbelievable. If you ever want to look it up, it's like they're like Kodo drummers or something like that. That's what it's called. It was amazing to see in person. Like, there's no way.
I would love to see that in person.
You can like watch, you know, or hear.
Yeah, you can't get the same feeling. It's like being up close for a rock concert.
Right.
You feel it through your whole body.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
So yeah, I would love to see that. That'd be awesome. So Roman water organs. The hydraulic organs used water pressure to create sound. Music from these organs was played in public ceremonies and baths and believed to enhance relaxation and social bonding. Used in temples to evoke divine favor. The resonance of the instruments symbolized cosmic harmony. Excuse me. African djembe, yeah, DJEMBE, the healing practices. The djembe drums created vibrations to energize or calm listeners, used in communal ceremonies to strengthen bonds. Rhythmic drumming was believed to release trapped emotions, healing vibrations, and connected participants to ancestral spirits. Djembe played emphasized unity and resilience. I've noticed a lot of these are going back to connecting with ancestors.
Yeah.
So maybe that we're onto something with the spirit frequency that these ancient cultures knew about.
Right.
You know, maybe there's a connection there. You know, maybe the resonation as some of these actually, you know, maybe enlighten the spirits. And like you said, I think we built up the energy when we played the resonator last night on our investigation.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's kind of interesting when you see all these things moving about, you can start connecting dots.
Or the similarities in them, you know, like they all have the same sort of thing going on.
Yeah, all the cultures, even though they're from all over the globe.
Yeah, different times and different
the flat
places.
Earth, whatever you want to believe. You know, different times, different places, and they all have the same beliefs. So, Celtic harp melodies. The harp's gentle tones are believed to have healing properties, played during spiritual gatherings to elevate moods. Associated with bridging the mortal and spiritual worlds, harp music was used to narrate myths and legends, and certain tones symbolize purity and renewal. The harp's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
If you've ever been around an actual harp, now a piano obviously is like a harp laying outside, but the thing is, the piano, because it's wrapped in wood, it sounds wonderful, but you don't feel that whole body like you do if you're around a harp.
Right.
If you're around a harp, you can almost feel those vibrations, like I said, in your chest again. When somebody's playing a harp close to you, it's a different feeling than a piano, even though it's kind of the same thing.
Well, and the piano is a mechanical striker, whereas a harp person
play with their fingers.
Strings,
yeah. So Hawaiian, I'm sure I'm going to say it, IPU Ipu hula drums. Now these drums are created rhythms for hula dances and chants. Sound vibrations honor deities and ancestral spirits, used to synchronize movements in ceremonial storytelling, believed to connect participants with the land and ocean. Vibrations were seen as a bridge to the divine realms. So once again, back to ancestrals, linking the ancestors with vibrations and frequency. So,
yeah, that's a common thread through all of these different cultures.
Yeah. And then lastly, we have the Mongolian throat singing, which is, if you guys have not looked this up or seen this on the internet, it is wild.
Yeah.
It's like they make a sound that's like from here. It's not coming out the mouth, like resonates from the throat. And this produces multiple tones simultaneously, mimicking natural sounds, believed to connect singers to the spiritual essence of nature. Vibrations were used to harmonize body and mind. associated with shamanic practices for healing and guidance, and throat singing creates a meditative and transcendent atmosphere. Yeah, you look that stuff up. Listen to some of that. It's just, it'll blow your mind.
A band called The Who, H-U, that plays it's like a heavy metal and
throat singing. Nice.
It is,
I'm going to have to check that out.
It's awesome.
So, now some of the other things that we've discussed for frequency and stuff like that were like the cutting of the stones at the pyramid.
Yeah.
And I just saw recently a stone that was actually miscut. Mm-hmm. And it was miscut by about a foot in length and 4 inches off. Like the instead of it being cut a perfect straight line, they were going up and cut into the stone.
Right.
But why would they miscut a full foot if they were using hand tools to cut the blocks, like history says that we did?
A millimeter at a time. Right. That implies that whatever it was going fast.
Yeah. Like, I mean, and the amount of time it would have taken to cut all those stones that they said were cut by hand would have been, ridiculous.
Yeah, it would have taken an entire lifetime to cut marble and shape it into, or granite into, an obelisk, 30-foot tall obelisk.
And rabbit holing, you and I talked about this earlier while we were sitting here getting things together. I've been seeing a lot of videos lately about how should we believe our timeline, because they're saying that, like, there was nothing west of the Mississippi before 1840. Mm-hmm. And now here it is, like, these great cities were built in 40 years. Like, these massive cities and stuff just popped up overnight.
Yeah. There's a conspiracy theory about the World's Fair where they celebrated the culture that was there before, and then when the World's Fair was over with, they destroyed all of that stuff. Right. Because if you look at Forest Park here in St. Louis, it was like Athens. You know, with the statues and marble construction and all this cool stuff, and then once the World's Fair was over,
it was all gone.
It's all gone. Forest Park today is just a open space.
It's a golf course and a couple gathering places with the zoo and the art museum.
So what happened to all that stuff? There was like a Parthenon, there were stairs, there was all kinds of, Greek statues and stuff. And
and they were trying to, if you go back and you look at the pictures from the World's Fair, they're trying to say that these structures that they built were temporary. Yeah. And if you look at these structures, they were highly detailed structures.
Marble figures and stuff. Like, where did all that go?
Yeah. So
the stairs, there's a huge staircase that goes through Forest Park up to like a Parthenon type Greek column building, and all that's gone.
Yep. So
they say,
another rabbit hole.
They dynamited it all up and then
carried it all off. Why would you do that? If you put that much work into it, why would you do that?
Well, the theory is that those were remnants of a culture that was wiped out in the flood.
Yeah.
And then they had the World's Fair to like celebrate that and then get rid of it.
Right.
So they could start over, with the
makes no sense
stuff
to me.
We have now.
Well, thank you guys for coming in and listening to us ramble on the podcast, as we always do. It's good to see, we have a few people in here hanging out. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share for anybody that likes
ring that bell.
Paranormal. Yep. For everybody that likes paranormal, conspiracy theory, that kind of stuff, we always talk about that stuff. But Ghost is our bread and butter. We are a professional paranormal group out of St. Louis. We do, we were doing them on TikTok. We do live investigation on TikTok. We actually, TikTok went dark during our investigation last night while we were live. But, so if you're into that, we do cover all of that. Go back, watch some of the other, podcasts, which we are still working on. We are giving away an investigation bag. Yeah. Tell them what you told me about the SB7.
Oh, that's funny. So I bought a spirit box off of Temu, an SB7 spirit box, and I was all excited because the price was about a quarter of what they usually go for.
Right. Well, which Temu you can find things that are that. So.
Without a doubt. And then when it showed up, it was a book. It was a paperback book about the SB7 spirit box.
Instead of an actual SB7
Instead of the actual spirit box, it was a book about the spirit box. So they got me again.
Yep. So but what we're going to do is we're going to go back and we're going to look at some of the old podcasts. We're going to come up with questions from the old podcast.
Yeah.
And whoever can answer probably 20 or 25 questions from things from the old podcast, whoever can give us all 25 questions correctly, the first person will win a paranormal investigation bag.
Yeah, we're gonna give you guys a good jumpstart bag.
Yep, and we'll throw in a linen library. Yeah. You'll get your own copy of the linen library. This is not real, except for this book. This book was added, but you'll get your own copy of the linen library backdrop, and then you'll be a happy winner. And we're still working on that. That's coming. That's coming though, for sure. If you want to follow us, we are on TikTok, the Veritas Project. I'm Investigator Todd. Bob is R.S. Curtis and the Veritas Project on everything. I'm Investigator Todd on everything. Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. And we are out there. So.
Not the Veritas Project on YouTube that has the black background with the little microphone on it, because those people are squatting on my trademark.
Yes, the Veritas Project is trademarked. So it looks
it's green and it's a circle. It's not black.
It's for those there, that little logo at the top there. This little green logo. You guys know it. You guys up there know it if you're following. So like I said, Patreon. If you become a Patreon member, you actually get your name at the end of the podcast. You'll be immortalized on all our podcasts because we have a Patreon page that we put everybody's name up. Yep. And if you're a $5 Patreon member, you do get these cards every month. Let's see, what else is there?
Join us on Monday when we edit the podcast.
Yep. Hopefully TikTok will be back working live. Bob may do it. Are you going to do it on here and on TikTok or just?
I might.
So, all right. So Monday, 9 o'clock Central, Bob will be live editing the podcast that we just recorded. And and he'll be on TikTok and YouTube.
You can hear some profanity because the computer crashed this morning and took out everything. So he's going to have to start from scratch, which I also have to record some sound bites for the midnight matinee. Yeah. Bob and Angie go see horror movies and review them, and they watch a lot of horror movies. They watch a ton of horror movies, and they review them all. That's Midnight Matinee. That's also on this channel. Yep. And so I have to record your guys' stuff for that today. Yeah. And I can go home and record it and send it to you. Okay. Since you don't have the software set up yet. But thank you guys for joining us once again. Anything else? Anything you can think of? Not really.
No. Bob is the Real Veritas Project, gmail.com. Yep. I'm investigator.todd.paranormal@gmail.com. Send us your ghost stories. We'll make a podcast out of it.
Yeah, we want all of them.
We want all your ghost stories. So thank you once again, guys, for joining us. And remember,
stay curious.
And find the truth, and we'll catch you guys next time.
See ya.
Bye, everybody.